Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel today. My name's Don and my channel is all about fishing after the age of 70. I talk a lot about what it's like to be a senior, to be fishing, at my age, 77, and talk a lot about bass fishing, about bluegill, crappie, and even saltwater fishing. And, I sometimes go all the way back to my youth when I used to do a lot of ice fishing. But today, at 77, I want to talk about the biggest thrill that I ever had bass fishing. And the funny thing about this particular thrill really had nothing to do with the biggest bass I ever caught or the biggest bass I ever lost. Uh, it was all about realizing that I can still feel that same jolt of electricity when I see my line jump or when I feel the tap on my line. People think that the biggest thrill that you can have in bass fishing is catching a 10-pounder. Well, I used to think that. In fact, when I first came to Florida, couldn't wait to catch my first 10-pound plus bass. And I was fortunate I was able to do that the first year I was down here. And I still have that fish hanging on the wall right now in my office. And I actually have three bass in my office. It's the only one that I have that's the actual fish. The other two are replicas. But I have a 10, 11, and a 12-pounder all mounted in my office. And they all gave me a great time. They were all a thrill to catch. But that isn't what this video is about. This video is all about, you know, it's all about that biggest thrill, that one thing that has been with me and been part of fishing my whole life. When I was younger, it was all about the size of the fish, the weight, taking pictures, getting the bragging rights. At 77, I can't even begin to guess how many pictures I have of me holding a fish. And I have to tell you, after a while, you know, it just looks like he changed clothes and held up the same fish because all the pictures pretty much look the same. The fish never get older, but you get older in the pictures. But catching a big fish gives you bragging rights. There's no question about it. Uh, but the biggest thrill, when I really sat down and thought about it, it really kind of surprised me because it wasn't the fish. It was the moment that I realized I still felt the strike. I still felt it. And you know the feeling. It's that split second when the line jumps and your heart jumps right along with it. That split second where your brain says, that's a bass. I thought maybe that feeling faded with age, but it turns out it didn't. In fact, I've caught bigger fish than some of these trophy fish that I have. I've won some big checks, I've lost some tournaments, and I've lost fish that sometimes keep me awake at night. But the biggest thrill I ever had came on an ordinary day. No crowd, no cameras, just me, the water, and a rod that I've owned longer than some of my fishing partners have been alive. When the bass hit, my hands reacted before my brain did. And that's when it hit me. At 77, my reflexes were still there. My instincts were still there, and they were sharp. And the bass, well, the bass hadn't read the memo that I was supposed to slow down. And here's the truth that nobody tells you about aging and fishing. You don't stop fishing because you get old. You get old when you stop fishing. Fishing keeps people, keeps their attention. It's all about timing. It's all about hope. But it keeps something switched on inside of you. Every cast is a small act of optimism. And when that line jumps for just a second, you're not 77, you're not 27. Age doesn't factor in. And don't get me wrong, at 77, I still fish smarter. I don't wrestle bass like I used to. I let the rod do the work. I let patience beat power. And that's another thrill, outthinking a fish instead of overpowering it. That's experience talking. The biggest thrill I ever had bass fishing wasn't landing the fish. It was knowing that even at 77, I was still out there. I still belonged out there. And I still understand the water, and I can still read the bite. And when a bass decides to eat, I'm still ready. So if you're watching this and wondering when your last great fishing moment will be, don't. Because the biggest thrill might still be waiting on your very next cast. And that, my friend, is why I keep fishing. Because that feeling, that bolt of electricity that runs through your entire core, that's what fishing's all about. So thanks for tuning in today. I enjoyed telling you the story. Maybe you feel the same way. You know, if you do, leave me a comment or two. The bottom line is, you know, we fish for different reasons. Some of us fish for trophy fish. Some of us fish for bragging rights. Some of us get, fish just to get away from the house, get away from the wife. But I got to tell you, the thrill is still there. If you still get excited when you see that line jump, if you still get excited when you feel a tap where you're reeling that lure in and you feel something grab it, that's what fishing's all about. And I hope I never lose that. So I wish you well. I thank you for tuning into my channel today. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and I wish you the very best. Have a great day, a great afternoon, a great evening, and hopefully you'll watch another of my videos coming up soon. Thanks again.